How's punters? Welcome back to BSBZA. Bra Robson here, and it's been a while since I've done a FAQ. So I did a post about 2 weeks back asking for your guys' questions for me to answer. That's exactly what I'm going to be doing today, as well as posting some channel updates at the end. So yeah, let's get into those questions. I've chosen ones that are interesting and ones that are common. So if there's an overlap, I'm going to be including it. But yeah, let's jump into it. So the first question is from Tokozile, and it says, how do you keep yourself from not getting addicted to gambling? Well, I personally don't play all that much outside of creating content. I'll have the odd session on my phone. It won't be very long. It's usually if I'm like very bored. But I get my kind of gambling fix from creating content. And because I'm creating content, it's a little bit of work, a little bit of entertainment kind of mixed together. So I don't feel that I'm addicted to gambling. I feel like I can stop at any time. But if you do feel like you are addicted to gambling, I do suggest you completely stop, step away, self-exclude your accounts. But me personally, I think I'm still fine for now. The second question is from Meg. Hi, bro Rob. I would like to know your opinion on betting sites. Like, do they have some influence on whether you win? In your opinion, do you think they have power or influence to prevent a punter from winning? Also, I like to play a lot of evolution games. I stopped because it was not fun for me anymore and it became stressful. I would like to know if you play live games and what is your general opinion on them. I also want to say I love your content. Thank you so much, Meg. I appreciate the very long comment and question. I'm going to go through the first one, which is, do I think sites have some influence on the outcome of games? They do have a slight influence, but they can't really prevent you from winning. So the sites can set the RTP of the games that they're offering. So let's say Gates, for example, they can actually set the RTP to something very low. RTP is return to play. It's basically what you can expect as a return. A little bit complicated, but not all that complicated. But anyway, the sites cannot really prevent players from winning. The slots are already designed for you not to win at, if that makes sense. You're going to be losing long term, no doubt. There's no reason for them to really fix it. And if they do fix it and they get caught fixing it, they are in for a world of pain from the gambling board, from the provincial gambling boards, that kind of thing. So it's just not in their interest to fix it. I know that sometimes it feels like they are fixed because you're losing and losing and losing. Maybe then jump over to another site, but that's not the site doing it. That's just the game itself. Like I said, these games are kind of fixed to make money for the casinos. It's not there to make money for us. It's there to make money for them. Your second question was about live games. I used to play a lot of live games. Honestly, I feel like they are a little bit slow for me now. I've gotten that dopamine hit now from the quick spins on the slots, that kind of thing. So I generally just stick to slot games. I still like roulette, I still like blackjack, but I don't really play it all that often anymore. But I think they're pretty solid choices if you like the good old casino experience. So the next question is from Charisse Govender. How's it, Rob? I hope you're doing well. I wanted to find out, how do you balance your time with family when you post so much of this incredible content? Thank you, Charisse. I mean, you seem to be such a busy man, and I'd really like to know, do you have sleepless nights? Do you have any help? It is difficult because I do work a full-time job. We're going to jump into that a little bit later. I think there's some questions coming up on that. It is difficult to balance it. For something like subscriber replays, I generally do over the weekend, which isn't great. I try to set aside time for it on a Thursday and Friday, but it usually happens that I just run out of time, and I try not to work in the evenings. So I generally do those on a Saturday or a Sunday, and I don't have help. I do all of the recording, all of the editing, everything myself. Although I do have Bri Anthony, who is helping with subscriber replays. Basically what he does is I send him the list of replays that have been submitted for the week or the month or whatever it is, and he'll go through each replay and he'll leave a comment on it and he'll add any additional information to it. And that just helps me with not getting the lebugangs in the replays, because I mean, it takes me about 3-4 hours to put together one of those videos. That's with his help. Without his help, I want to say another 2 hours, because there are just so many bad replays that I get sent, and I choose them randomly. I really do choose them randomly. And if it's a bad replay, I've then wasted 10 minutes watching a Sugar Rush replay that didn't pay anything, for example. So I do have some help, but yes, it is difficult to balance the times with the family. Sleepless nights? Nah, I don't have sleepless nights. That's not really a problem for me. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. Question number 4, a bit of a controversial one from Zizo. What are your thoughts on so many gambling content creators, YouTubers copying most of the things or content you've come up with? Do you think there's a lack of creativity in the videos they create and being able to keep their subs engaged as much as you do? So I don't have a problem with people using similar ideas that I've come up with. There are a couple that I think would be like blatant ripoffs. So if someone starts a Beat the Wagering series, some very unique things that like I came up with. But that hasn't really happened yet. There's a couple of other people out there doing big wins, but that's nothing unique. That's nothing new. And there are just so many people that want their wins to be featured. I personally don't really have a problem with it. So yeah, I hope that helps answer the question. I didn't go into too much detail. I really don't like being a drama llama, but I don't like people ripping off my things, like a specific, very unique series that I've done. I would not be too happy with that. But hey, at the end of the day, it's a free country. Well, it's YouTube, it's free, and people can do what they want. It would be nice if they gave me credit for the idea, but I don't expect it. Next up is a question from Sunette Hermanhuis. I hope that's right. Hi Rob, long-time subscriber here. Thank you, Sunette. I really enjoy all of your content. I've often found myself wondering what work does he do that he can afford the deposits he makes and travel to Germany as often as he does. That would be my question to you. So good question there, Sunette. So it's a little bit complex when it comes to the deposits I make. I do play with my own money. I'm not sponsored. We're going to get into that later on. I see there are some questions about that. I do work a full-time job. I work in digital marketing. So I've got a couple of websites that I run ads on and that kind of thing. And that basically pays for, I mean, it pays pretty well. I'm not going to lie. I own a couple of businesses. I've also got other business interests that pay fairly well. When it comes to the deposits that I make, I take a large percentage of what I earn from my YouTube ad revenue, and that goes into my deposits. So if you'll see in the beginning of the channel, a couple of years back, I was playing a lot smaller, maybe like 500 Rand deposit, 1,000 Rand deposit on occasion. And as my channel's grown and my income from YouTube has grown, I've managed to increase those deposits, which is why I'm able to do, 2,000 to 5,000 Rand deposits for a session these days. So I dedicate a percentage of the income that I earn from YouTube in order to make those videos. Hope that makes sense. Let's move on to the next one. Kyle Grunewald says, what is your favorite site? I'm not sure if you have a partner. If so, does she say anything about you gambling even though it's your job? My favorite site, it fluctuates. I've got to say it's probably going to be the Purple site because they have the most variety. They've got all the pragmatic, they got all the habanero. They get games fairly quickly. I like to play there. The deposit options are great for me. I use Zappa, I use Ozao. It's lightning fast. The withdrawals, boom, straight back into your bank account as soon as you hit that withdrawal button, for me at least. Although I have been playing a fair bit on the green site, the Green Lion player, I quite enjoy there. They just don't have habanero. What I don't like about the Purple site is that they don't give anything back to the players. It's a big thing for me. My eyes have been opened because I've been kind of broadening my horizons on some of these other sites that I've maybe neglected in the past. And I'm actually having a really good time there because they give a percentage of your losses back. They even give you bonuses from time to time. I can't list them because YouTube's going to smack me down with a restriction or a strike or something if I do. But yeah, basically, if anyone's looking for a site, I would say the Purple site. Hollywood is probably the best one to go with. Your second question was about my partner. What does she think of my gambling? Yeah, she knows I gamble, but I pretty much gamble mostly for content. So I'm not doing a whole lot of gambling outside of that. I don't go to the casino very much. It's maybe like a once a year, once every 2 years. It's an experience. It's a night out for me. She doesn't have a problem with it. It doesn't affect our relationship. I'm a very responsible gambler. As you guys can see in my videos, I take the money and run. I don't often run it down to zero. I'm quite conservative when it comes to gambling winnings and profit and that sort of thing. Question number 7 is from Andy Papier. Is there a certain time to play to win big besides jackpot races? Now, this is another controversial take from me. A lot of people believe that there is a certain time that you guys should be playing a certain game. I don't believe in that. I believe it's all run by algorithms. Algorithm does not care what time you're playing. It's going to pay out at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's going to pay out at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's going to chow at 5 o'clock. It doesn't matter. It's going to chow and pay at any time. If you're on a hot streak, that's a different story. Then you're just winning big, and that's just coincidence. And there's something called confirmation bias. So if you're sitting and playing at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on hot fruit, for example, and you're winning and you win there for like 3 days, you think, that's the perfect time to play. But then the next 7, days in a row, you end up losing there, but you're thinking, hey, you know, I won in those 3 days, that's got to be the best time to play. That's just confirmation bias in my opinion. Usually I play mostly in the morning and during the day. I don't really do it that much in the evening, but I've gone through so many spins. I personally have not seen that there is a singular best time to play. The best time to generally play is going to be when there's a promotion going on at the same time that you're playing. So if you're doing the jackpot race and you've got a chance, well, then you're getting your spins in. So you've got a chance of picking up a normal win, but then you also have a very, very slim chance of picking up a win in the jackpot race. So, you know, why not just play during jackpot races just for the off chance that you might get something there. Right, the next question is from Unjabulo Baloi. Hi, bro Rob, hope you're good. I'm well, thank you. I just wanted to ask a few questions like, how do you manage your bankroll when playing slots, and how do you handle a losing streak? And what strategies do you use to get back on track? Is it okay to chase some losses, or have you ever tried to chase a loss or get revenge on a slot machine? I've been doing that with them fruits. So a couple things to break down in this one. How do I manage my bankroll? I like to say, and I don't always do this myself, but I feel like you should be betting with like 1% of what your deposit is. I usually do a lot more than that, to be honest. I probably go about 5%, but 1%. So if you're depositing 100 Rand, I feel like you should be you should be playing rather with like 1 Rand spins. I think that's the best kind of bankroll management. And then also taking in the money and running. A lot of players don't do that. They'll deposit $100, for example. They'll get it up to 150, and then they'll get greedy and they'll want to win more and more and more, and they'll end up losing it all. So for me, my biggest strategy is to just take the money and run when it's up. Even if it's a 50%, 20%, whatever it is, profit. If it's a profit and you're happy with how the session went, take it and run. The second part of the question is, do I chase losses? Look, I always encourage viewers to not chase losses because it's just going to end in tears like 9 times out of 10. I've done it a couple times myself. Look, we are all human. I'm not going to be like a purist and say, oh no, I never chase losses. I do sometimes, and most of the time it doesn't work out. As for getting revenge on slots, I do feel the need for revenge sometimes. At the moment, Sweet Bonanza 1000, that game is killing me. I feel like I need to get a revenge tour on that game, but at the end of the day, that's kind of the same thing as chasing losses. It's something I really don't recommend you do. What I do like to do is a kind of general strategy, not that there's any evidence behind this, but if I'm playing a game and I pick up a feature, I like to either increase or decrease the stake size, because just for me, it's a vibe thing. I feel like I've got a better chance of hitting a feature again if it's at a different stake size. But once again, this is all just my gut feeling, and I've got no scientific evidence to back that one up. IG Matt asks, hi Rob, trust you're well. What is your go-to slot when you just want to have fun? So at the moment for me, it's Sweet Rush Bonanza. I have a lot of fun on that game, but one of the OG slots that I really enjoy playing is Bikini Island Deluxe. I flippin' love that slot. I've picked up some okay wins on it in the past. It's just got such a relaxing soundtrack. I like the gameplay. I like the stories. I like the beach bums. I like the babes on it. I like all of it. It's not a game I'm going to recommend you guys go out there and play, but it's one of my personal favorites. Carnival Cove as well, I think is one that's getting up there with me. Hot Fruit obviously, but Hot Fruit can be such a frustrating experience. I generally like to buy bonuses. If there's a game that has that feature and I'm enjoying it, I'm probably going to go back to it quite a lot. Kyle Moodley asks, what is your opinion about live games, and have you ever thought about doing videos on live games? For example, Crazy Time, are you ever gonna do live games? So back in the day, at the start of the channel, I was doing a lot of live games. I was doing a lot of Crazy Time, Monopoly Live when it was still available. I'm actually not even sure if it's back in South Africa now, because it was removed and then it kind of came back. I don't play them anymore. I kind of touched on that earlier. I find them a little bit too slow for me. I think they're great. Look, I do like them. I prefer the first person versions of them because it's quicker. I can get through a session quicker. My sessions generally are not very long at all. I don't sit there for hours and play. I like to have 20 minutes, 30 minutes max. Sometimes I go longer than that if I'm having a really good time. But I think they're great to play. But personally for me, it's just a little too slow. I need that dopamine hit all the time, and I get that from the slots. So this one's from Grace, and we've covered a bit of it. How's it, Bri Rob? I have 2 questions. Number one is, based on how frequently you play slots, would you say you're addicted to gambling? And gambling has gambling just become part of your job since you now have a large community here on YouTube? And number two, do you get taxed on your gambling profits? So the first one, no, I'm not addicted. I touched on that earlier. I don't have a problem. How often do I play? It depends. I want to say maybe 3-4 times a week. But it's usually when I'm creating content. I don't play all that often. I'll play the odd session on my phone, like I said, when I'm really, really bored. But outside of that, it's not all that often. The second one was, do you get taxed on your gambling profits? So there's no tax on gambling profits in South Africa unless you're a professional gambler. You should be declaring like really big wins. If you win like R1 million or something like that, you need to declare it to SARS. But you declare it under, I think there's a special like tax dispensation for it. It's like the lotto. If you win the lotto, you don't pay tax on it. However, if you're a professional gambler who does something like poker or goes to the casino as your job, then you do need to declare those winnings and you will pay tax on those winnings. For me, I don't, because also something you got to realize is in order to make money on gambling, you need to spend money. So it's going to be very complicated with the taxes on, you know, I won 10,000 Rand, but I actually spent 12,000 Rand to win that 10,000 Rand. You shouldn't be paying tax on that. You're actually in the negative then, if that makes any sense. Tershday asks, is it possible to make a living from gambling? Like, is it a wise choice to gamble for an income? Absolutely not. Please do not gamble for an income. It's a big problem in South Africa. What a lot of people are doing is they're getting like their SASSA grants or their salary or whatever it is, and they're trying to have gambling as a side hustle to make money. Online slots casino, none of that is going to make you money in the long term. It's a loser's game. We do it for entertainment. Sports betting, I suppose there's an argument to be made there, but you're going to need to spend a lot of time doing research. You're going to need to find an edge somewhere in order to do it. So I certainly do not recommend gambling as a source of income. It will just end in tears. You'll end up in debt. You'll end up with no money. So just, yeah, not a good thing to do. The next question is from I Love Church Music. How much do you make on YouTube and is it worth the time? So I don't necessarily want to disclose how much I make on YouTube, but what I will say is what I mentioned earlier. I use a lot of the income that I make on YouTube into making deposits, into making more content. Is it worth the time? I'd say about a year ago, that was like the peak of when it was good to do kind of gambling content, that sort of thing on YouTube. But now YouTube has become so strict, it's getting close to not being worth the time. Look, in all honesty, for me personally, it's not worth the time. I do it because I like to entertain people. I love the community that we've built up over here, all of those kind of things. So for me, that time is worth it, but I could spend that same time that I do making YouTube videos, etc., editing, going through comments. I could spend that time working and I could make a hell of a lot more money doing normal work than all the time I spend on YouTube. However, if you're in a different niche, then yeah, sure. I think you can make some good money on YouTube, but in gambling, I don't think there's going to be a future in it. There's actually some updates coming out in, what is it, like just over a week from now. I think it's like 10, 11 days. And they're going to be clamping down, and they've been clamping down since March heavily on gambling content on YouTube. So I hope that answers your question. So David Wise, who's actually been in the comments quite a lot. Shout out to David. David asks, how's it, bro Rob? Do you think that the gambling sites you play on keep track of your winnings and limit you once you've won a lot? I know your sports betting accounts have been limited, so just wondering if casino slots operate differently. Now that's a good question, David. So I don't believe they do it on casino slots because it's basically rigged against the player. The sites are always going to make money long term. The only way that they're not going to make money is if you hit them once and you take them for a lot of money. And I think that's going to be really big punters. Look, I wouldn't put it past some of the sites to block people or remove their accounts or delete their accounts if they've won like a couple of big max wins, but they're going to have to be betting big money in order for that to happen. We're talking like they're going to need to win a couple of $100,000, couple of $1 million regularly for them to do that. But then they might suspect there's a pattern or something, and that could happen. But I don't know. I do know for sports betting, my sports betting accounts are pretty much limited everywhere. It's a joke actually, but that's something that they do with sports betting. If they feel like you've got an edge over the odds that they've posted or you're making too much money, they will shut you down. I'm not sure how much of a problem it is over the last couple of years because my accounts all got hits like just before COVID around that time, and I've basically been 5 years without being able to get any bets on it. Look, I can take small bets, but my max win is on some sites it's 1,000 Rand, so it's not even worth it for me doing sports betting at this point. But there are a whole lot of new sites that have launched, but I've honestly moved on from the sports betting thing quite a bit. Scuba Steve Guy asks, what kind of win will it take for you to quit gambling? Now, if you'd asked me this a while ago, and people did ask me this a while ago, what kind of win would it take? I think like $1 million. If I won $1 million Rand, I think I could just walk away from gambling quite happily. I'll have achieved pretty much everything I wanted to achieve, and I think I could walk away from it with that. For a lot of other people, it's going to be a whole lot less than that. But for me, it's probably gonna have to be about $1 million. But in order for that to happen, I'm gonna need to bet big, and I don't expect that to ever happen because I just don't bet the amounts that you need to. I mean, I need to do, what is it, like a 200 Rand bet at a slot that's gonna pay 5,000x, and if I hit a max win on 200 Rand, that's gonna pay $1 million. I ain't gonna be betting 200 Rand all that often. I mean, the biggest I've ever done was those 20k buys on Gates, and that was with bonus money that I was wagering. I'll never be doing that again, and that's the equivalent. So yeah, it'll be about $1 million in my opinion. Jeffrey Jansen asks, good day, bro Rob. On a weekly basis, how many times do you gamble in private without recording? Kind of went over this earlier. Once a week, max. Like I said, only when I'm very, very bored, and it's not very often that I'll do it. The thing is, I don't want to, like, a concern for me is if I'm gambling on my phone, because I'll only play on my phone then, and I'm not recording it, I'm like, yo, that could have been a sick video. That would have been an awesome one to share. And it's not the same watching a replay of one of my own big wins and reacting to it, because I've already had the original reaction. And like, I'm not an actor or something like that. I can't go and recreate that winning feeling by watching one of my own replays. So that's why I don't kind of gamble on my phone or privately all that much. That's another one to add to one of the reasons why I don't play all that much without recording. So Andre asks, interesting one here. Hi Robs, thank you for the opportunity to get answers to some questions we all might have and the hope of you having the answers. My question is, would it be better to play with a Wi-Fi connection, or do you have better experiences with fiber? I pretty much play on my Wi-Fi, but my Wi-Fi is connected to fiber. So that's how I play. I generally don't play with data on because the sites chow data. Let's not kid around about that. They really chow data. But I don't really have an opinion either way on what's better, what not. I don't think it makes any difference, to be honest. Lorna Dodgen asks, a good day, dearest Bra Rob. I've been playing these slots for a while, but I don't know what the heck I'm doing and have never really won anything. Is there a certain game for a beginner, and is it wise to bet small amounts? Thank you. Yes, 100% bet small amounts. If you're starting out and you think you might be interested in playing slots, my first advice would probably be just not to do it, because it's going to end in tears in the long run. But if you want to be entertained, you want to maybe win some bucks if you get really lucky, then yeah, start small. Only bet with what you can afford. So maybe even go onto some of the demo sites like Pragmatic Play, Habanero. If you go onto their websites, even Holly, I think, have it on their site. You can actually play demo to get a feel for the game rather than jumping into the deep end with real money straight out of the gate. So do that. Start very small. If you're not having a good time, then just stop. You don't need to start off big. The only thing is, and there's a huge caveat behind this, and I don't recommend people do it. Unfortunately, on slots, because there's like a 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, maybe some of them go up to like 40, 50,000 X, because there's a limit on how much you can actually win. You are going to need to bet bigger in order to win bigger. And that's the trap that a lot of players fall into. Yeah, so stake small, see if it's for you. If it's not for you, walk away. Sammy asks, and this is a good question, Sammy Gio, on subscribers, keep the balance. If someone gets a max win, are you going to give them the winnings, all of it? Yes, I've covered this before. I will absolutely give them all the winnings. So on subscriber, keep the balance. If you guys don't know, basically 3 subscribers get 500 bucks each, and they can do, well, I mean, they get 1,000 Rand each, and they can do 2 500 Rand bonus buys, or they can do spins of what they've selected. Realistically, the chances of hitting a max win that are minimal, and if I do hit a max win, it's probably going to be a 500 Rand bonus buy, which is going to be a 5 Rand stake more than likely. And chances are it's probably going to be a 5,000x max win on that, which is going to be, I mean, worked out 25k, something like that. 100% pay it. I've paid out, I think, guys that have won 4, 5, 6,000 bucks in subscribers keep the balance. I think it would make amazing content, and I'm more than happy to give that money to the person that's won it. Look, if the person's gone and said they won 50 rand spins or 100 rand spins and they hit a max win on that, I'll still pay it, but I'll be like, how's about you swing a bra rub a little thank you over there? You know what I'm saying? No, I'll 100% pay it. I'm all about transparency and honesty, and you guys don't need to worry. I will definitely pay the winners out on a max win, but the chances of that are really, really flippin' slim too. So yeah, I don't think it's ever going to happen, but it would be flippin' awesome if it did. Imagine that content. I would be going boss if that happened. So Craig Stewart here. Why doesn't the YouTube comment picker come around? Lol. Just want to feature at this point. Well, you're featuring now, Craig Stewart. I'm not sure if you're talking about Keep the Balance, but you're featuring on the questions asked. So all jokes, he says. Any plans of starting a Discord and more collabs in the future? So I've been doing a collab with Bra Jono from Punter's Paradise. He's an awesome dude. He's such a nice guy. I really do recommend you guys go check him out. He's humble. He's honest. He's playing with real money. It's an important thing for me, so go check him out. I'm doing some collabs with him. Unfortunately, YouTube gave me a strike on the one collab because some other content creators out there that I think maybe are jealous or something like that, and they reported the video. But yeah, it is what it is. But plans for a Discord? I don't really want to do a Discord. It's Discord for me. It's too chaotic. I'm not going to be on there personally. It's the same as like a WhatsApp group, the same as a Telegram channel. I would start these things, but I'll honestly not post in them. It's the same as like a Facebook group. I've got a Facebook group that's got like 10,000 members or something, but I don't post on it because I don't go on Facebook a whole lot, and I don't like Discord. A lot of South Africans also don't even know what Discord is. I'm sure there's a lot of viewers out there just wondering what the heck Discord is. It's basically like a messaging service, a forum that you can access through the web or via an app. But yeah, I don't have any plans for a Discord, unfortunately. I know there are other content creators that do it, but I'm not going to be one because it's just going to be neglected, to be honest. Nokufiwa asks, do some of these gambling sites ever sponsor you? Anyway, I love how you react when playing. Your choice of words kills me every time. I'm glad I can entertain you. I'm going to call you Noku. So this is a question that I used to get quite a lot, and I'm going to be completely transparent about it. It is not something that I do. I've done it before in the past a couple of times. I did it with... I can't mention names because of it on YouTube, but I think I've done it 3 or 4 times in the past. And when I do it, I make sure that they are giving me a small balance to play with. It's usually something like 2,000 Rand, but those are only on videos when there's a huge giveaway. So what I'll do is I'll speak to these sites and I'll say, cool, you want to have a sponsored video on my site, then you need to give me a balance to play with that I can announce the giveaway on. Plus you're going to need to give away something like free spins, and there's going to need to be a kind of cash prize for the viewers for that video. So I think I've done it 3 or 4 times. It's not very often. It's something that's unfortunate in South Africa because a lot of these sites just aren't interested. Would I take sponsored money to do normal gameplay? I think I would, but it would need to be money that would be a substantial amount for me to be like, okay, cool. Thing is, I'm depositing like between 2,000 and 5,000 Rand anyway, and I do get offers for it, but a lot of the offers are actually for less than what I'm playing with anyway. So there's not much point in me doing it because I'm not going to be saving myself a whole lot of money doing it. Plus my reactions are not going to be as genuine unless I can keep that money afterwards. If I do get it, I will put a disclaimer in there saying that, listen, this money is from them. I mean, there are a lot of other content creators that do get bucks from people, like a lot of the overseas sites. They've got overseas creators. They've got special deals and stuff like that they get a heck ton of money, which is why they can bet so big. I've had some really good sponsorship opportunities. There was a really, really big one. It was the perfect sponsor for me. It was basically the biggest site in SA. They approached me. I can't go into too much detail, but to sign on as an influencer for them. At the end of the day, what they were going to pay me, it honestly wasn't worth it. They weren't going to fund my videos. They were just going to give me like a set amount every month, and I had to exclusively play on their websites. I had to have their logo up on the screen, all of that stuff, and I was just like, nah, that's not something I want to do. As much as I like the site, you guys can guess who it is. I didn't want that thing of being tied down to only ever playing on their sites, because I like to jump around sites, because sites, even the sites I don't like, come up with new games. I want to check them out. I don't want to be tied down, and the money wasn't good enough for me to be like, cool, let me do that. But yeah, if a site wants to sponsor, I mean, I'll definitely consider it. I think it's something that does need to happen, even if they put wagering on, but I just don't see it happening. Like, South African sites are incredibly cheap. All they'll do is they'll be like, hey, cool, we'll give you an affiliate deal. So that's why you'll see a lot of creators like posting links in the comments or that kind of thing. I've got no real issue with that. But that's not going to make any real money. And I know this from experience in affiliate marketing over the longest time. But yeah, I mean, so I'm not sponsored at all. I get some stuff from Pragmatic Play. They're awesome. They sent me on a trip to Italy. They've actually done more for me than any South African site has ever done. With the exception of maybe Hollywood. Hollywood, they sent me to the Durban July a couple of times. That was all expenses paid. But Pragmatic Play have been fantastic. They sent Levitate and myself out to Italy, all expenses paid. It must have cost them a hell of a lot of money. Well, I think it was not quite all expenses. They paid for the flight, they paid for the accommodation. They didn't pay for the chow and drinks and all of that stuff. But that was a fantastic experience. They've also sent me a bunch of things. In the past, the purple site, Hollywood, they sent me hampers. I used to do amazing giveaways with hampers they'd give me. They wouldn't pay me for it, but I'd be like, listen, I'm playing on your site. I'm playing on the jackpot race. Can you guys give me some stuff to give away? And they sent me so much stuff. But unfortunately, I don't know what they got too big for themselves or whatever it is. They just, and the person that was working there moved on. So they just don't do that anymore. I'd love to do more giveaways. I mean, geez, if they came back to me and said, listen, I've got 10 hampers to give away, because that's what they used to do. They used to give me 10, 20, 30 hampers to give away. And some guys got some amazing stuff. Like, look, I'm not out of this world things, but it's, it's cool hats, hoodies, t-shirts. Some people got a bottle of champagne, bottle of gin, those kind of things. But unfortunately, that's basically a thing of the past. And yeah, so yeah, basically I'm not sponsored. That's what it boils down to. However, it's not that I'm not open to it. I just don't think that these sites out there value creators to what they're actually worth. So I hope that answers your question. Another question is from Jack, the United fan. Bro, Rob, I've been watching your channel for almost 3 years, and I'm always looking forward to seeing new ones, release new games, I'm assuming. I want to ask, there's a website called OK. You guys can see it up on screen, which gives this bonus. The bonus has now changed, by the way. Upon registering, our balance is very well swollen. Their withdrawal request is you must deposit before you can withdraw. Is that legit? No, it is an absolute scam. It's not something that I made a video on it. I actually made a video on dodgy sites. A lot of people are getting scammed. There are just so many scams going on at the moment, and it really breaks my heart that people are falling for these scams. The two big scams that are going on at the moment is the $80 deposit scam. So if you sign up with the site, you get an $80 starting bonus, and you just win. You get that. You're hitting max win after max win after max win. You're getting your balance proper pregnant with potential. It's up to like 10,000, 20,000. I mean, I've seen some $100,000 ones. And they're like, we just need to verify your account with the $80 deposit. That's like, what, 1,500 bucks? Futsak, it's a scam. You're going to deposit, that site's going to be shut down because there's so many clone sites, and you're never going to see your money. These sites are not licensed. Check out my Be Careful of Dodgy Sites video for more information on that. The other one is that OK site that you mentioned. They're asking for a 300 Rand deposit. There've been subscribers who've reached out to me, and I've said, don't do it. They did it. They deposited the 300. What happened next? They asked for another 600. It's a scam. I mean, it's just a complete scam. Like, go look at the bottom of the site. If it's not licensed in the Western Cape or any other provinces in South Africa, it's gonna be an absolute scam. So stay away from these dodgy sites, please. But yeah, that wraps up the questions. We're gonna jump into a couple channel announcements. If I didn't feature your question, I do apologize. I couldn't get through all of them. The video would be very, very long, but I can do something like this in the future. There was one that was asking about, I worked at betting sites in the past. I'll just quickly jump into that. It was many years ago. It must have been now 12 years ago. I was working at an international site, Betty. I was doing a lot of content there. That's where I kind of got into the whole kind of, I was doing a lot of sports betting before that, but that's where I got into the industry seriously. and I was doing content marketing, I was doing outbound marketing, in-play marketing, and then I moved over to like software development side. So I've got quite a lot of experience in the industry, so I kind of know what to look for as well. And I've kind of been working adjacent to the industry for quite a long time since then. But yeah, on to those announcements. So not really too much to say here. I do want to say that I am going to be posting a lot more over on BSBZA Extra because I've been having some issues on the main channel with YouTube and all of its nonsense. So things like subscriber big wins, viewer replays, that sort of thing, that's going to be going over to BSBZA Extra for the time being until I can resolve all of these issues. So please go ahead over there, go and hit a subscribe there. If you guys do want to watch those replays that they're still going to be dropping every Sunday. Also, just want to thank all of you guys out there for all the amazing support over the years. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. It's truly an awesome community. There are a lot of issues going on in YouTube, so I'm not sure how much this channel is going to be able to stay around. But I do want to say thank you in case this is one of the last couple of videos. We're going to see what YouTube does in the coming weeks. But yeah, you guys have been absolutely amazing. From the bottom of my heart, really a big thank you. You guys have helped me achieve things that I never thought was even possible for a muhu like me to achieve. And yeah, I just thought I would give my heartfelt thanks for that. Yeah, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to everyone for sending in those questions. If you guys enjoyed this, there'll be another one, I don't know, maybe a year or two if we get that far. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Cheers.